That's it. You haven't been recorded. Are you staying in there for the first session, are you?
Might as well. Now I've got myself confident.
Let's turn these lights on.
Hello friends,
Hello, dear friend.
my name is Veronique Dussel. I came to be 18 in 1915. And what a revelation that was. I found myself helping in the war, the First World War, the war that was going to end all wars. But afraid it did not. Nothing was learned. I helped nurse all of the brave troops, the British troops, who came to our aid. Like me, so young yet, they were fighting a man's world. I saw things that I did not wish to see. The physical injuries were bad enough, but it was seeing their tortured minds, their fear, their innocence taken from them. They should have had their whole world to look forward to, but their minds were, oh, I don't know how to describe it. They were not there anymore. It was such a shock to I had worked with my father and my mother and my brothers and sisters on the farm. I knew that people died and people lived. Animals lived and animals died. That was the circle of life. But our animals and our people did not be traumatized to the level that they were, as these poor boys were. I did my best to help them. I pretended to be their friend, even their girlfriend, if that's what they wished me to be. If it gave them hope that they would see their country again, their mothers, their fathers, sometimes their sweethearts. We buried so many of them with our own hands. There was nobody there to help us. It was the nurses and the orderlies who helped them to give them a dignified end. And they had suffered so much. And I look at your world, and it is much the same, although there is no war at this present time, and for that we thank God, because we do not want another generation of people hurt, mentally and physically, as they were then. But it is the minds of the young that are so affected. I do not understand why, because there is no war. So why are their minds so badly affected? I know that looking at your world, there are many troubles and many trials for you all. But it seems to be affecting the young so much more. Perhaps they have not had the life experiences that I had when I was young. But then I was plunged into far more. There were times I could have cried and broken down, but I felt my duty was to help these young men, these beautiful, handsome young men, who were maimed. They lost their eyes, their ears, some lost the sides of their faces. Others had great big wounds in their stomachs, others lost limbs. And I understand why they would be traumatised as a result. But all I can say is that in the spirit world we are sending our love and our prayers and our healing to the young who seem displaced at this time. They do not fit in, some of them. In our generation we took over from the previous one and tried to make things a bit better, the farm to work better, to be more productive, to marry well and be happy and have children. So many of you young at the moment, these are not options there for them. We wish with all our hearts that we could help you at this time, because we have seen what trauma does to young ones, and those minds will never be truly settled again. So many were struck down with paralysis, or being unable to communicate anymore. It is sad that your young folk are traumatised to the degree that they cannot be effective in this world. They cannot help. I know some of the elders up here in the great lines up here have often said they are not meant to fit this world. Your world is changing. It isn't going as it always went. It's not following on from the previous, as we'd all know. Things are changing, but I do not know if it is for the best at this time. But I send my prayers to you all, and I send my strength, and I hope that with time, you young men and women will find their way in this life and will help your world to connect with the next phase that it is meant to go through, its new dimension. I leave my prayers with you.
Thank you, my friend.
Hello, my friends.
Hello, welcome.
I've come again. I am Crazy Horse. Aha.
You're
I'm
welcome.
not so angry. I am happy today. I have been reading about myself. They say I am well. I did so well in my battle. that I defeated that man, Custer. Oh, what delight that was for our nation, to see that man dead. But it is sad our way of life changed from that moment on. Like your world is changing, and you must adapt, or you must die. Is that not what they say? That's what I did. I did not adapt well. I did not like being imprisoned. I had never been imprisoned in my whole life. I was free. I roamed the plains as a free man. Yet when the white man came, they put us all in chains. They took our land. They told us where we could walk, where we could not, where we could fish, where we could hunt. And they took the bountiful themselves. But we resisted as best we could, and we had many victories. But sadly, in the end, our way of life came to an end. I was angry for very many years about that. Even when I came here, I was angry that they had taken that from us. But now I realise we are all here for a certain time, to make our mark on our world, to leave where we can light footsteps and light foot imprints so others can follow, but gently. You yourselves are going through a great unrest in this world, in this country. Many feel that they do no longer fit in here. Many are voting with their feet, as you say, and they are moving to a different country. But those that are left must carry that burden and manage the changes that are going on. And there are many changes. There are changes with your young. They are not what they were. They seem more immature these days than they ever were. When I was 12, I went to battle. Your child of 12, I would not leave alone with a puppy. But what am I to do? How can I help you to change these things? All I can give you is my strength and my no fear attitude. And you must go out into your world and you must change it. You must help. You must have your foot soldiers on the earth helping these young people to find their place in this world. Their minds are, as we would have said, the peace pipe, we all are like this. But their minds are affected totally. We used ours to connect with spirit and our elders and to help them influence us. But sadly, you're young. I do not know where they go when they are in their induced states. It is sad to see they are the first generation that does not seem to know what they are to do. We all knew what we had to do. We followed on and we tried where we could to make our parents proud of us by winning great battles and taking many with us. We took many as slaves. We taught them the right way to live. And many of them did, and they took to that life, and they liked their life much better because they were truly free. The women we took, we treated with gentle ease. We did not wish them to be our slaves. We wanted them to be our equals, to work with us, to be responsible as we were. to raise our young in the ways of our forefathers. But it does appear that that does not always happen in your world. People do not marry, although we did not marry in the same way that you have marriage. But it was a commitment. But it does feel that your world and your people do not wish any commitment in this lifetime. But how do you expect to grow or teach your young if there is no commitment and responsibility? I have jabbered on for far too long now, but I hope that you are pleased to see I am happy today. And I will leave my love, my strength, and no fear of anything. You are all strong warriors, and we in spirit are very pleased to see you are here today, committed to your work and committed to making a change. I will leave you now.
Thank you, my friend, for your wise words. Questions on the postcard then?
It was very interesting hearing Veronique talking about her life and then Crazy Tools talking about his life and the difficulties they encountered, and commenting on today and what's happening was quite illuminating.
They're not very impressed with the Bogue Society, are they?
No. But it's interesting how they can see what it was like in their day with their lives, and it wasn't easy, and it's no easier today in our lives, but it's in a different way that it manifests.
But Crazy Horse are very critical with people being brought up with no responsibility.
No commitment.
No commitment, no responsibility. But hopefully it'll record this time and you can watch that play back.
Yeah,
at some
it'd be good
point.
for you to be able to see that back.
What was the name of the first lady?
Veronique Dussal.
Okay.
And you had a slight French accent coming through as you were
Yes.
talking.
Oh, was
which
it?
lovely.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah. And she was talking about the First World War
She-
and what she did, and
She worked in field hospitals first of all.
Yeah. saying how it really was. And then the contrast is Crazy Horse.
And Crazy Horse comes through. I love him. He's so funny when he comes through.
Well, it was good that he's happy today.
Oh, he's
Yes.
happy today,
Yes,
was he?
he's happy.
He wasn't
Yeah.
ranting and raving
No,
today.
No ranting and raving, no.
He was good today.
He came through happy today. Said
I
he
do
was
feel
happy.
lighter today because sometimes when he's come through, I've
Mm.
felt like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
No, he came through in very good spirits.
He did, yeah.
Good. That's nice. He's normally pretty miserable and angry.
Yes. he was very critical of the way the world is today, but he did it all in a very light-hearted
Yeah.
way. Right, who's next?
Me.
Can I go next?
Two.
Do you want to go?
Do you mind?
No,
I've
okay.
got two waiting.
Oh, we'll be making up now.
The trouble is
Two.
you've set the mantra now, haven't you?
Well, it's good, isn't it? We're getting... Still won't take that amount of time, will it?
Hello, dear friends.
Hello, welcome.
My name is Big Bear. I was once a Cree chief. I'm not going to talk to you about my life as it was, because like Crazy Horse, it was not much better. However, I was quite philosophical with words when I was here upon the earth plane, but it did not serve me well, as I ended up in prison and then died soon after. That is all in the past. That is not what I wish to dwell on now. I wish to make comment about food and nutrition and how this really truly affects the mind. This is more important today, and nature, being amongst the green, eating the greens. This is very important for everybody. There is a saying in your world, trust your gut. Now then, what does that really mean? I'm trying to apply what I learned from my life and what I've learned since being in spirit to try and help you move forward, or at least understand what could help. The way one eats today is, especially in the Western world, not the Far East, where they do eat better and don't have quite the same issues food-wise as in the West. It's all about how do you grow with the soil, how do you grow with the sun, the light, the air, the water. The 4 elements are key to growing, and you have a mixture of light and dark. For example, the earth is the dark. The moonlight also helps and is a form of light, just like the sun. The sun is a powerful light that helps during the day. Then at night time, the moon takes over and helps the food digest the sun from the day. And it also helps the soil benefit what grows within it. However, when a person grows food from seed, they need to nurture that seed like they would nurture their own child, because the seed is going to take on the energy that you feed it. With what happens in the world since the pandemic, the soil is not as good as it once was, which means the food that you grow is not as good as it once was. Also, people with their minds shattered as they are today are not conveying the goodness to the food that you need. So one has to step back and look at oneself as an individual and realise everything comes from the heart with love. You love what you grow, you love the seed and nourish it, you talk to it and the plants in the greenness, and you encourage that greenness and that love, because it is all a circle of life. The soil, the sun, the sky, the air, the water and moonlight. It is all circular within the 24-hour window you allocate to this world in time. This is really important, that humanity reconnects with nature, walking in nature, being gentle with themselves, kinder to themselves as well as others. This is what would help in your world at this time, where there is so mental unrest and anxiety in the world. And that negative energy, sadly, leads to wars, and it is counterproductive, as we all know what war does, as our 2 previous talkers have explained. We do not wish you to go through and keep repeating the cycle of this vicious world. We want it to become unvicious and calmer and kinder. And I'm going to leave you with those words and let the next speaker talk. Blessed be, dear friends.
Thank you.
My name is Helena. I was
Welcome.
found in the 1900s. My husband and I ventured to the Himalayas, and we were very spiritually minded. What I wish to take is not so much talking about our lives then, but adding on to what the last speaker said about the minds of the young ones, and also the older ones, because it is all related. There are conditions in your world that you give labels to: ADHD, autism. However, labels are not helpful, because all it does is say someone's mind works differently from another. It has always been that way. However, what has become far worse in your world is that the minds of the young ones, as they come back from their previous traumas, from the spirit world, from their former lives, some were Native Americans and have come back and been born as Europeans. Sometimes the psyche of the soul lasts for centuries and through endemic populations. And it is not easy to wipe away that trauma before they come back again for their next reincarnation, or incarnation as you would say. However, it is important to bear in mind that the food nutrition in the gut affects the mind. This is something that is now known about in your world among clinicians. However, they do not fully understand it. But what you eat, how the food is grown, how it is loved and tended, impacts on your gut once you consume it, and impacts upon the mind. Also, the negativity in your world, with people not being positive in mind because they are losing their way, means that there is more likelihood of war. That is a tragedy set to repeat itself until humanity learns that calm and peace starts from within, starts from the gut reaction. Why do I feel this way? Am I eating something that is disagreeing with me and my mind, rather than physically? And this is what one has to learn to try to understand and realise the cause and effect in the circular motion of the life cycle of everything is all relatable. It is all related. And it is important to bear in mind the calm and love that you need to start to give yourselves before you try to forward that and help others with that journey. But it is so important for the enlightened ones like yourselves who meet and do that. Do not get burnt out by this life and the negativity around you. It's so important for you to be grounded and do the simple things, walking among nature. Notice, nature is green. The best food you can eat are also greens. There is something about green that is so important to humanity and this world that you live in. Everything is important and circular in motion and in life. How we think, how we philosophize, how we eat, it is all connected. Just like we are all connected to one another, with the strands from the former worlds that we once were part of. I'm going home to spirit world, the links are there, and they're there again when we reincarnate on the earth plane. And it is a journey and a story that is evolving and trying to better the illumination of humanity. Away from the darkness, but there needs to be a balance between dark and light. There always has to be, but there are excesses in the world of light and of darkness. And it is important for there to be balance throughout the whole of Mother Earth. She is crying out for this light where there is darkness. And where there is too much light, there needs to be an understanding, there needs to be a balance of the darkness. It is all related, all joined up. Some call it yin and yang. Whatever you wish to call it, light and dark, there is one word that typifies it all. Balance. Balance in everything is so important. I will leave you with these words. My name is Hannah Rory. Blessed be, dear friends.
Thank you. Bless you, my friend. Any comments?
Hannah was very educated. That's from my point of view. Very sort of she understood back, you know, from that time to this time, how relevant it was, and for the actual teaching of foods and how we manage food today. We grab a sandwich, eat it as we walk along, and have a drink and whatever, and throw whatever we don't want. But in those days, because